All right, the question on everyone's mind. First thing this morning, the question on everyone's mind, all around the world, all my friends, all my family members, they all have one question for me, and I'm going to answer that question for you right now. The answer is yes. Yes, we still have 10 fingers. Yes, we still have both our arms. Yes, our Independence Day celebration was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. We're going to go into that here a little bit more in just a second. But I did get up this morning, 3:40 a.m., grabbed my headphones, put them on my head, got my big purple cup of ice water, made my way downstairs to my little man cave, opened up my Morning 5 planner, and at the top of the Morning 5 planner, there was this quote submitted by Grant Weller. It says, "Even progress that feels slow changes the view." Even progress that feels slow changes the view. And so as I read that, there was a video that popped into my head, video that I watched a little while back, where literally every step changes the view. And so I wanted to start today's episode with that video. Hopefully you'll find it as inspiring as I did. It's a little bit weird. It's a little bit of a different start than what we normally do here on today's episode. But we're going to do it anyway because it's my show and I can do what I want.
If you want to try it, Mo and Topka and I might be able to climb past you.
I can go over this way.
Yeah, give yourself like lay your sender down about one more first step left, and we can climb right past you. You'll get the shot you want. Everest!
Good morning and welcome to the #1 morning show in America. I am your host, Glenn Lundy, husband to 1, father to 9, author, speaker, and the founder of 800%.life. It's 5:30 a.m. and it's time to rise and grind. Hey, good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Monday. That's right. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2026. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Monday, July 6th, 2026. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. Coming to you live from Lexington, Kentucky, where we are looking at low 80s all week this week, which I'm super excited about. That video I just ran is the people reaching the top of Mount Everest after a multiple day climb, out of breath, tired, weary, worn out. But it ties right in with the quote that was in our planner today: even progress that feels slow. You can't run up Mount Everest. You can't run to the top. You can't. You cannot speed up that climb. You can't, your body has to shift slowly with the altitude. It has to adapt and make the changes as you continue to climb to the top. Like, there is no racing to the top of Mount Everest. You're not going to see some dude, like you see in a marathon, you see the dude that's running 4-minute miles for a marathon. You're not going to see that on Mount Everest. But even though that progress feels slow, which I can't even imagine what it's like when you're climbing the side of that mountain, especially when you're reaching that summit point, I can't even imagine how strenuous it is, how every step just feels like, oh my gosh, it's ridiculously slow. But interestingly enough, and I thought that video did a great job of capturing, is with every step comes a new view. With every step, it changes the view. I'm one step closer. I'm one step further than where I was before. And I can literally look around and I can see more. With every step towards the summit, I'm able to see more of what's available to me. My capacity increases with every step. So I don't know about you, but that video, it's motivational to me. It's inspiring to me, and it's just a reminder. And I thought it just tied right in with today's quote. So listen, I'm coming to you off of my favorite holiday weekend of the year, 4th of July weekend. We had an amazing party this year. Everything just went perfect. There's some years where everything goes wrong. This was one of those years where everything went perfect. And I should have known it was going to, because it started with, this is a picture of the tent in my backyard. And if you look in the top left, for those of you that are actually watching the show, if you look in the top left, you'll see that I was able to mow the number. Drop it in the comments if you can see it before I say it. I'll give you time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, for all my listeners that aren't watching the show, I was able to carve right there in the top left-hand corner. I was able to carve, and I'm going to zoom in on it now. I was able to carve the number 250. That's right. Kurt got it. That's right. Robert got it. That's right. I was able to carve the number 250 right there in the grass on my property. 250 years America. And what better way to celebrate 250 years of America than hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill? We went through 60, 120, 180. We went through almost 200 hamburgers and I think like 150 hot dogs or something like that this weekend. So hot dogs and hamburgers. We had the inflatables. We had the big inflatables. You can see those actually in this picture. This is my wife doing hot dogs on the grill. And then if I zoom into the back, you can see the inflatables back there. Big obstacle course inflatable, big water slide for the kids. My wife's decorations were on point. Which most of these she put together like by hand. She had an amazing team of ladies that helped her put them together. Our friend Ashley, who's here with my buddy Richard. Ashley helped put the decorations together, and then her mom and Nancy and so on and so forth. But it was amazing. Decorations were on point. We had just over about 200 people that came through, which was just incredible. Like, so the company, the friends, the family members, being able to create these memories with amazing people. The fireworks, of course, were top notch. Incredible show this year. And there was just tons of smiles and laughter and music. There was over 100 kids that were just running around, shirtless boys, swimsuited girls, having a blast, all the way from age 2 years old to age, 17, 18 years old. They were all just being kids. And it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And my heart was full. My heart was full. To top it all off, I was able to take my friend Richard over to meet our racehorse 800, which our racehorse is going to, if all goes well, he is going to be having his first race this Thursday at Ellis Park here in Kentucky. So if you're into horse racing and so on and so forth, then go ahead and check out Ellis Park Race 6, and you'll see our horse 800 having his first race. So wish me luck on that. But it was just a big, incredible, powerful weekend celebrating Independence Day. 250 years since our country became independent. Independent of Great Britain's rule, independent of a country overseas telling us what we can and cannot do. And so as we got done celebrating that, and I forgot to bring those in. I'm going to bring them in. I got thinking about that word independence a lot, right? And I was like, okay, we use that word independence. What does it really mean? Like, what is the definition of independence? And when I asked that question, here's what came up. It says, independence is the freedom from outside control, support, or authority. It describes the ability to act, to think, or to govern oneself without relying on others. This concept spans multiple aspects of life, ranging from personal self-reliance to political sovereignty. So then I dug in a little bit more to this word independence. And obviously it's got multiple uses. So when it comes to political and national independence, on a global scale, independence refers to a nation or state exercising self-government and sovereignty over its territory. An independent country can create its own laws and policies, manage its own internal and external affairs without interference from foreign powers. It can defend its borders and establish its own system of government. Historically, national independence is often achieved through diplomacy, popular referenda, or revolutions to break free from colonialism or oppressive external rule, which is how this country came to be. But there's also a different side of independence, a non-political side, not talking about the country, but talking about me and you. Personal independence. On an individual level, independence is the capacity to take care of yourself, to manage your own life, to be able to make decisions without needing permission or constant aid. Financial independence, earning your own income, managing your expenses without relying on others. Emotional independence, the ability to validate your own feelings and make choices based on your own values rather than seeking approval from others. So I thought about that. I thought about the different levels of independence, and I thought, 250 years ago, they fought and died for this idea of independence. And this week, I want you and I, the recipients of the decisions, the sacrifices, so on and so forth, made by those that came before us, I want us to ask this question 250 years later. So they fought for independence. So are we actually independent? That's the question I want to ask this week. Are we actually independent? Now we're going to dive into this. We're going to go deep this week. And time-wise, I already played a video, so I don't have a ton of time this morning. So typically we would do some dancing, say some good morning. I'd tell you to hit that share button, drop a comment, say good morning to me. I'll say good morning to you, all those things. But we're going to have to speed that up this morning because we've got a lot to dig into. And the series this week may be a little unique for you. It may be a little different. But when we ask that question, are we actually independent? I want to really take the time to answer it. Is that fair? Just like I talked about at the very beginning of the show, you can't race up to the top of Mount Everest. You have to move slowly. The body has to acclimate. You have to be able to shift to the enormous pressure. There's no racing to the top. And there's also no way to dive into this series quickly. We have to really go deep and extract some things. So it might feel a little bit different this week. It might feel a little bit weird, a little bit off. It might be a little bit unpredictable in the sense that typically Glenn does this, then this, then this, then this. We might mix that up just a little bit. And that might make you uncomfortable. You might like it. You might not like it. I don't know. But it's a conversation we need to have. And so it's one we're going to have. What's up, Jeremy Nolly? Thanks for being here, buddy. It's a conversation we need to have. So are we actually independent? Or have we simply became really comfortable inside the systems, patterns, habits, and beliefs that we've inherited from those that came before us? Which one do you think it is? Are we actually independent, or have we become really comfortable inside the systems, patterns, habits, and beliefs we've inherited? Because see, I've been really fascinated by this idea more and more as I've gotten a little bit older, and I start to see that there were things that I was told or things that I believed that ultimately were not true. It starts at a very early age, right? Early age, they're like, Santa Claus is coming down the chimney and dropping presents under the tree, and you believe it for a season of life, and then you come to realize, like, oh, wait a minute, that wasn't true. That's not really what happened. That's not really the case, but I believed it to be true, and because I believed it to be true, I was able to find evidence that it was true. And so it starts really in childhood, right? But now what? Now it's maybe not so obvious. Maybe now it's not a big, fat, jolly man coming down a chimney. Maybe the thing that you believe to be true now that somebody told you a long time ago is what it means to be successful. What it means to be a man. How a lady should show up in the world. My buddies were doing a show the other day. They were doing a podcast, and they were talking about, we had a big incident in Paris, Kentucky, and they were just talking about a black person's perspective on the incident and a white person's perspective on the incident. And it was interesting to hear them both as they openly shared, their thoughts, their ideas, so on and so forth. And I made a comment on there. I made a comment that because they were talking about a few of the guys and girls went to prison from this incident, went to jail. And I made a comment that, hey, they're not the only ones that are in jail. They're not the only ones that are in prison. As a matter of fact, I think many of us are. We just don't realize that the prison we're living in is the one inside our minds. And before you think, oh my goodness, Glenn has gone full Matrix this morning, like before you go there, I want you to think, actually, maybe I have. Maybe I have. Maybe I've gone full Matrix this morning, and we're going to continue to go full Matrix this week. Because if you've ever seen The Matrix, then you would know that what made that movie so powerful is not the action scenes. It's not the leather jackets. It's not Trinity and Neo. It's not Keanu Reeves dodging bullets. What made The Matrix so powerful was the terrifying reality, like the terrifying possibility that maybe it's true. That's what made it powerful. Like, what if the world that you've accepted to be true isn't actually reality? You're like, what are you talking about, Glenn? Glenn has lost his marbles. This is a question I want to ask and extract this week. What if the world you've accepted isn't actually reality? Like, what if the world, the version of reality that you've been programmed to accept, like, isn't actually what's happening out there? You know what I mean? Like, here's the part that kind of messes me up a little bit. Neo in the movie The Matrix, he was not trapped because he was weak. He was not trapped because he was stupid. He was trapped because ultimately he didn't know he was trapped. And I wonder how many of us wake up every day and just run programs that we never consciously installed. Somebody else installed it for us, and we're just waking up every day and running that program. Like, think about it. Who told you, I want to know very specifically, who told you what success looks like? Who told you? Who told you what success looks like? Was it a parent? Maybe a parent told you what success looks like. Maybe it was the employer that gave you a job. Maybe they told you what success looks like. Maybe it's society. Maybe society told you what success looks like. But like, who told you what success looks like? Who told you what a man should be? Who told you what a woman should be? Who told you that you need a bigger house? Who told you that Mondays were terrible and dreadful? I've got a case of the Mondays. Who told you that growing older would mean that you would grow irrelevant, like you would become less relevant the older that you get? Who told you that you needed to choose safety over purpose? Who told you that you needed to be perfect versus flawed? Who told you that because you failed before, you are now permanently defined by failure? Because somebody did, and at some point you accepted it, not necessarily because it was true, but because it was repeated over and over and over and over again. If you repeat anything enough times, eventually it stops sounding like an opinion and it starts sounding like reality. And that's what's fascinating. And so I've been thinking about that, and I want you to start thinking about that. Because see, as we go into this series on true independence, we have to get a baseline, and then we have to go out and we have to look historically, and we have to study. Because see, you, if you're watching this show, are very much like me. You're one of those people that wants to change the course of human history. And when we look back, all of those that have changed the course of human history in some way, shape, or form, they've all had one thing in common. They all were willing to question the accepted programming. Not because they were rebellious, not because they wanted attention, not because they just wanted to be, ornery or whatever, but simply because something inside of them refused to accept that the way things were was the way they had to be. When you think about the most impactful human being of all time, this guy that goes by the name of Jesus, whether you're a person of faith or not a person of faith, doesn't matter. You can't deny this. Jesus may have been one of the most radically independent thinkers who ever lived. Like, think about the world that Jesus walked into. Jesus walked into a world dominated by religion, politics, hierarchy, status, ethnicity, and power structures. And what did he do? He challenged all of it. The world said, and this was the common known thing. The world said, hate your enemies. What did Jesus say? He said you should love them. The world said that power belongs to the strong. Jesus said the meek and the weak will inherit the earth. The world at the time said you need to protect yourself. Protect yourself against your brothers and sisters. Jesus said you need to forgive 70 times 7. The world said that the kingdom is out there. This is the kingdom, the land, the empire. The world said the kingdom was out there. Jesus said the kingdom's in here, in your heart. Think about how revolutionary that was at the time. You see, he wasn't just simply changing behaviors. Like, Jesus was challenging the operating system people used to understand reality itself. And history shows us something interesting. The world often celebrates independent thinkers after they're dead, because independent thinkers make people feel uncomfortable. And they force us to ask questions we don't want to ask. And that's what we're going to do this week on this show. Is we're going to get a little bit uncomfortable. And I'm going to force you to ask questions you might not want to ask. So if you're interested in taking a walk with me this week, if you're interested in going through a slow and methodic journey where every step has the capacity to change your view, if you're willing to do that, then I'm excited to run with you this week. If you have no interest in that, don't come back tomorrow. You can come back next week. We'll have a new series. You want to stay in the matrix. It's like Morpheus. Morpheus was like, hey, take the red pill, we go down the rabbit hole. Take the blue pill, you stay right where you're at. You'll forget this ever happened. I'm telling you that this morning. Come back tomorrow. We're taking the red pill. We're going down the rabbit hole. If you don't want to, come back next week. Does that sound fair? All right, cool. I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Yeah, there we go. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll do it all over again right here on #Rise and Grind. Have an amazing day. Peace.
Let's go. It's 5:30 a.m. and the world's awake. Lundy in the house, no time to break. Husband to one, father to nine. This is the anthem. This is the grind. Let's all rise and grind every single day. 5:30 in the morning, Glenn's leading the way. Husband to one, father to nine. Host of the show, man, it's time to shine. Rise and grind, keep the fire alive. Motivation daily. We all gon' thrive from the stage to the mic. He's one of a kind. This is the anthem. Rise and grind. Before the sunrise, he's sparking the flame. Millions inspired. Remember the name. Faith, family, future. He's leading with love, dropping daily wisdom that comes from above. Early morning.